Hey there. So as more and more attention is heaped on the James Gunn controversy, I wanted to talk about Bryan Singer because Bryan Singer is one of those people that seems to dodge all of the things that have come his way, and I don't really understand why. I mean, this guy has been accused of pedophilia time and again, not dark jokes that people would try to defend within that. If that's your take on James Gunn, this guy literally is accused of raping multiple people. And he has also been embedded in films with pedophiles. He has kept the company of known associate pedophiles and on. His timeline is a crazy one that we will go over. I mean, apparently, I'm not the only person thinking this too. I did a search on Bryan Singer's name, within Twitter, and I saw a lot of people talking about this as well. And I wonder how many people know about the accusations and about the history. I mean, a precursory glance at lists will find you things like this, where he was accused of Michael Egan, a 15-year-old, of promising him a role in X-Men, feeding him alcohol and drugs, and when Egan protested, sodomizing him. Then Egan says that Singer threatened him and kept doing these type of things, saying he would murder his family. From there, of course, there was a 14-year-old that also said that he had fed him Quaaludes and alcohol and actually raped him within that. And underage extras with an apt pupil also claimed that they were forced to strip naked and to be filmed without permission, which we'll talk about his timeline more in depth. This, again, is just precursory searches on his name. You find things like this over and over and over again. Not only that, but the tie-in here. When we're talking about tie-in and the people that you keep company with, there was a documentary talking about Hollywood pedophile ring preying on child actors. And you've heard people talk about this stuff quite a few times. You've had everyone from Corey Feldman to other child actors come out and talk about all of the people that take advantage of kids when they're in Hollywood. And one of those people that Bryan Singer was associated with is the X-Men star Brian Peck. Now, Brian Peck is actually a convicted pedophile who sexually abused a Nickelodeon star and still works with underage kids. He served 16 months in prison, and after his release, he's been a dialogue coach, has worked on Disney series, and played a teacher, and claims to be friends with Charlie Sheen and on. He's still in there. We see this type of thing come up over and over and over again with some of these people. When we're talking about Bryan Singer, when we look at his timeline, for example, I think we're going to get into that. We actually have one of the first things that's noted here was the production halt in Usual Suspects. Why? Because Kevin Spacey was accused of inappropriate sexual behavior, and this kind of stuff was laughed off. Now, looking at this too, more than 30 men and boys have lobbed accusations against Spacey, now since October 30th. Now, again, those are accusations. These things aren't proven. But still, when you go out and you look at the mounting claims, it is scary, and you cannot trust Hollywood. You also see claims come up with an apt pupil, like I was talking about here. The parents of Albin, a 14-year-old extra in Apt Pupil, sued Singer and the film's production for allegedly filming their son and other minors naked in shower scene without permission. This goes on to detail this and exactly how that went. When cameras rolled, the actors were told to remove all their clothing. Albin said he did not comply, but others did. Several other young actors also sued the filmmakers, but the suits were dismissed for insufficient evidence. Now, after this comes the problems with the DEN, or Digital Entertainment Network. And some of this stuff is insane. If you go and you look up stuff on this, you will find insane stories out there. Here, for example, you have something that talks about Chad's World, which was basically supposed to be an episodic half-hour drama that continued on the internet. It was expressly designed for internet consumption. But however, when Radar did a November 2007 article on the fall of DEN, they talked talked about how this was described as a gay pedophile version of Silver Spoons. You have talk about parties and so on that were with Singer, and within that, then you have lawsuits here. Now, in a suit filed after the X-Men premiere, former DEN employees Burton, Mark Ryan, and Michael E. filed suit, claiming that the founders of DEN offered them jobs, then sexually and physically assaulted them, as well as coerced them into consuming prescription drugs and controlled substances. Now, this was settled confidentially. However, according to the case docket obtained by BuzzFeed, the three were awarded over $2 million in judgment and $1 million in accrued interest in 2011. And those were civil suits. However, according to BuzzFeed, in August 2000, a federal grand jury indicted Collins Rector on criminal charges of transporting minors across state lines for purpose of sex. The founding trio of DEN then fled the country and were arrested in Spain by Interpol in May 2002, where they also found guns, machetes, and an enormous collection of child porn. So then you have Halle Berry, the troubles with that. You have troubles with Superman going over budget, and then we're on page 2 of 3. So then you have another one of the parties that gets out of hand, and they talk about some of the things within these, wherein, it's a New Year's Eve party, and there's like 600 or 700 twinks running around within that. You have a huge lawsuit within that. Then in 2014, you have the Egan III file civil lawsuit. This is something that we were talking about before. Former child actor Egan was 31 when he filed a civil lawsuit against Singer. Egan said between August 1st, 1999 and October 31st, 1999, when he was 17, Singer flew him to Hawaii multiple times under the guise of discussing movie roles, but fed him cocaine, alcohol, and other drugs, and anally raped him. The director said the allegations against him were outrageous, vicious, and completely false, adding that he was not in Hawaii on the dates of question. So Egan names the Singer's fellow DEN investors within this lawsuit. Now, apparently he does drop this after some time, and there was some type of settlement within stuff, and Egan was actually arrested for fraud on unrelated things. So it does make you wonder about that. But still, looking at all of the other stuff that came before that, then Singer was actually withdrawn from promoting X-Men Days of Future Past because of all of the issues with the Egan lawsuit. Then, in May 7, 2014, John Doe number 117 claims Singer and Gary Goddard sexually assaulted him as a minor. This is the 14-year-old that was mentioned before. That at 15, he and Goddard began an online sexual relationship. Later, Goddard introduced him to Singer over the phone. In 2006, when the plaintiff was 17, Singer and Goddard traveled to London for the Superman Returns premiere and asked to meet him there, with Warner Brothers supplying tickets and a hotel room. According to the suit, Singer and Goddard invited the plaintiff into Singer's suite on the pretext of showing him Superman memorabilia. Singer and Goddard started grabbing John Doe in a sexual manner, and when he resisted their advances, the suit claims Goddard brought in a man to beat him up. Singer then removed his own boxer shorts, ordered the boy to sit on him and masturbate, and attempted to anally penetrate him. The next morning, Singer called the plaintiff to apologize. Now, in July 2014, the plaintiff dropped Singer from the case. In October 2014, the plaintiff's attorneys entered a voluntary notice of dismissal with prejudice against Goddard, because they don't have any proof within that. Then you have An Open Secret, which premieres, and this is basically a documentary that you can look at on YouTube. I would encourage you to do so, because within it, there are a host of allegations within all of this stuff. We talked about that just a minute ago. Then, Singer has issues with X-Men Apocalypse. Then you have actor Noah Galvin discusses Singer's parties, then apologize. A Vulture profile on Galvin, star of the now canceled ABC sitcom The Real O'Neills, included several quotes for which he later apologized. They included this one, which which ultimately Vulture deleted. Bryan Singer likes to invite little boys over to his pool and diddle them in the effing dark of night. Then, of course, he apologized for that later on. Now you have Open Secret that's available in 2017 for free. So you could actually check that out there. And now we're on page 3. You have Rachel Wood that actually comes out in support of Singer's alleged victims. And then you see other things falling in, like he has a production deal lapsing here and not picked up. Then Justin Smith, age unknown, accuses Singer of sexual assault on Twitter. So you have another person coming out and accusing him. Jessica Chastain tweets in support of Singer's alleged victims. So you have more people coming out in support of that. Students at USC petitioned to remove Singer's name from its School of Cinematic Arts. You have actor Anthony Edwards accuses Gary Goddard of child sexual abuse. And you can see this keeps going on. I mean, you have all of these issues that just keep going on. Cesar Chavez Guzman files lawsuit alleging Singer raped him in 2003, which was one of the headlines that we noted there, and so on. Like I say, there are so many things that have come up about Singer. There is so much more out there, too. So many details. This guy has been applauded and lauded with praise. He has been held up by an industry that is obviously broken and contemptible. And you look at that, you think, my God, look at that resume. I mean, if we're talking about Gunn within this stuff, then Bryan Singer, he isn't someone that you can go out again and question. This guy is a monster. He sounds like someone that never needs to be around children. He never needs to be within an industry like this. At least that's my opinion on it. But anyhow, looking at this, what do you think of that? I mean, when people, again, have talked about the James Gunn situation, talking about things possibly being edgy humor, well, this has nothing to do with that type of stuff. And yet this guy has connection with industry. He still shows up at events and so on. And he has this type of resume. This type of thing is insane. I mean, when you look at it collectively over years, you look at the people that he has had contact with in his sphere of influence. You look at how many pedophiles are known associates of this guy. I think it is beyond crazy. And it's beyond crazy that this guy hasn't pretty much been out in the court of public opinion, at least, and been discussed. But anyhow, tell me what you think about this. Did you know all of this stuff out there? Because I think a lot of people, they have no idea what's out there, especially with a person like Bryan Singer. Anyhow, thank you.